This slide shows you how important this is. These are claims in Indiana. This statistic was given to us by Pearl Insurance. 72% of the claims in Indiana against licensees, misrepresentation or failure to disclose. Okay? To avoid claims, this is very simple. Document, 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 disclose, disclose, disclose. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Common sense works wonders. We have the golden rule. I have to, before I switch on to that, I am going to talk just briefly about the professional standards centennial birthday here, but I wanted to mention one more thing. I believe it was, I don't know if it was Mary or Helen I was talking to, but they said, you know, most of our folks, they're not trying to do something wrong. They're not. You know, you're not intentionally trying to do something that's breaching a fiduciary duty. Most of these claims arise just from negligence, mistakes. I mean, it happens to everyone. The best way, you just educate yourself and try to be very careful, like I said, with documenting and disclosing. One thing I was asked to bring up was, in terms of reducing your risk, how do you protect your commission? If you're dealing with a FSBO or a builder, and we have, I don't know if you all are familiar with this form, but we have a FSBO builder compensation agreement in the statewide forms. This will protect you if you're dealing with someone that is selling their home by themselves, or if it's a builder. It has the commission agreement spelled out. It also has language that says you are not their agent. That's really important. So this will spell out, it'll help you with liability, and it will protect your commission as well. Okay? Hopefully you all know about that form. If not, it is in the library. So, okay, now just briefly. Okay. Oh, good. I think I'm on time then. I've got 4 minutes left. I wanted to bring to your attention, this is the 100th birthday of the Code of Ethics, which you all know. I'm sure you read regularly, right? There are ethical violations out there, as well as the license law violations. It's a very important document. It was adopted in 1913 in Winnipeg, Canada, starting out as a 1-page document, and now you all know it's 8 pages with 17 different articles. Does anyone know why this took place in Canada? Why that in 1913 there was a meeting held in Canada? Well, first of all, Canada was actually part of the National Association of Realtors back then, so that's one thing. But there's the answer. I was going to ask you to guess, but that's okay. The Titanic. 3 realtor members from Canada died on the Titanic the year before. So in honor of those 3 realtors that lost their lives, they chose Winnipeg to host an AR's 16th annual convention. I thought that was very interesting and nice fact to know. Brings it a little closer to home. And there's a picture of the 1913 convention attendees. Look at that apparel. It's just like what we wear today, right? Well, thank you very much for having me today. That's the end of my presentation. I'll be around after the entire program is over for questions if you want to come up and ask me. Thanks.
Now we'll move to Tom Rinker, who's going to help us avoid fines from the VLC.
Good morning. Good morning. Contrary to common belief, realtors do read. This new fine that we established, or this new policy, I should say, that we established, does invoke something that actually is pretty rare for us, and that would be automatic fines. That, believe it or not, in the 20+ years that I've worked for MIBOR, we've actually collected only just over $1,000 in fines. So, contrary to common belief with all the notices that we spend, our culture really has never been to collect money from members for fine purposes. Our culture really has been get the data right. But unfortunately, some people have taken advantage of that over the years. And a really good example would be that about 4 years ago, we started a notice that was sent out as a reminder that your listing was loaded late. And And in a typical month, we send out about 120 notices of listings that were loaded 2 days more than the list date, more than 2 business days. And since adopting this fine on October the 1st, the numbers went 0. That amazingly, we went from 120 a month to none so far this month. So the great news is that we haven't collected any money for the foundation. Maybe that's not so great. But again, all fine revenue, including code of ethics issues, those dollars do actually go to the foundation, just to be aware of that. Now again, why did we adopt this new policy? And really kind of 2 reasons. The primary reason, though, was starting about 2 years ago, we started to receive a lot of concerns or complaints, really, about signage that was showing on properties, and those properties weren't in the service. And the commitment that a broker makes is that when they list a property, is that they'll put the property in the service within 2 business days. And as you probably are aware of, in Indiana, in order to promote or advertise a property, you do have to have written authorization from the seller, some type of contractual relationship to do it. So the assumption is that if I have a contractual relationship with the seller, and I put a sign on it, that it most likely is a listing agreement. And the commitment by the brokerage is to put those listings in the service within 2 business days. And ultimately, those signs, typically, the concern was coming soon. And a great heartache that agents would have as they saw these coming soon signs. Their potential buyers would see these signs. They'd call their agent. The agent would go to the service and the listing wasn't available. They then would call the agent, and the agent was reluctant to give out information that it wasn't available yet. And there were concerns that things were happening such as that agent was only promoting it themselves and not allowing others to see the property, or simply promoting it with some select group. And the concern with that sort of activity is that it's kind of out of line with what cooperation and compensation is all about, the backbone of the listing service. But one of the key concerns is that is it the right thing to do for the seller? That if I'm not exposing the listing to the entire market, am I potentially getting every possible offer to get closest to my asking price as possible? And so ultimately, the policy really is in place from the perspective that listings aren't required to be in the service within 2 business days. If I take the listing on Friday, what does that mean? I take the listing on Friday, my commitment is that it will be in the service by Tuesday. So Saturday and Sunday don't count. Postal holidays don't count. So if Monday was a Memorial Day weekend, I listed it on Friday, technically it wouldn't need to be in the service until Wednesday. So there are 2 business days plus weekends if there's a weekend that falls in between to prepare it. Now with this policy, also was adopted the ability to put it in the service on a no-showing status for up to 7 days. So if I listed a property on Monday, my commitment is to have it in the service on Wednesday. And I also have the ability to state that it won't be available for showing for up to 7 days from the listing date. So if I put it in on Monday, I can put in a showing date up to 7 days out. The great news with that is that I can put my sign in the front yard. It can say coming soon or just for sale, whatever I want it to say. And now that it's in the service, other brokers can look up the details. They can see what your compensation is going to be if they choose to, if they work with their potential buyer on it. And once it's available for showing, they certainly can schedule a showing and see the property. Something to note about that state, that there are 2 new fields in the database. One field is available for showing, yes or no, and a date. When a listing is available for showing, no, the field marked public internet is also required to be no also. On the showing date, when the showing date arrives, that is entered, the system will automatically reflag it to available for showing yes and public internet yes. So that will happen automatically. Let's say that it's not available for showing after 7 days, that something comes up that they thought they were going to have it ready, but the carpet didn't get in or the painting wasn't done. What do you do at that point? At that point, simply withdraw the listing. So it can be in the withdrawn state. The listing in the withdrawn state is fully under contract, that no one can solicit it. And then once it's available, move it back to the active status. The system won't do anything automatically to move it to the withdrawn state, but it will automatically mark it as available for showing yes on the showing day and public internet yes on the showing day. So both of those things will happen automatically, but on that showing day, if it's still not available for showing, your commitment is to remove it from the market, move it to the withdrawn state.